Welcome back. My name is Arla Smith. I'm here with Legal Aid Services of Oklahoma, and we are doing our next installment of What a Disaster. With me today, I have Jessica Foutch and Isaac Morris. They are our specialized staff attorneys for our disaster team with Legal Aid. So what Legal Aid does is we are a 501c3 nonprofit law firm that handles all civil legal issues that a low-income individual may have. So we try to help those who are under 200% of poverty guidelines. We serve all 77 counties in Oklahoma, and we make sure we help those impacted by disaster problems.
Thanks, Arla. As she said, I'm Jessica Foutch. I'm a disaster attorney. We provide, like Arla said, free civil legal services. Our team does focus on kind of the more disaster issues that a person might see. And we do cover the whole state. Now, we don't have offices in each of the 77 counties, but we have an office that serves every county.
Right.
Yeah, we do have 18 offices and numerous embedded locations. So you can find us in a hospital, you can find us in a school, you can find us in other nonprofit organizations, and just throughout the state.
So today we want to just talk about some disaster legal issues, some things, some preparedness tips, and some ways just to be ready for disaster recovery. Oklahoma is very disaster prone. What is a disaster is, a pretty easy question, but in Oklahoma, it's a pretty broad question. We have fire, we have water, we have wind, we have ice, we have tornadoes. So we really see all perils, as they would say in insurance, in Oklahoma. So that's kind of our basis of what we're working with. Most of the people that we're trying to help have been affected by some kind of event, some kind of catastrophic disaster event.
There are a lot of times, too, that a disaster event can actually be more like an apartment fire and things like that as well. So it's a little bit more wide range than you might initially think.
Absolutely.
Yes, I think it's a good distinction of natural disasters, wind, fire, ice, compared to what we define disaster is very broad of, any kind of event that disrupts your normal course of life, which is that apartment fire.
Personal disaster.
Personal disaster, yeah. So personal, you have natural, which, it is a personal disaster if you suffered from a natural disaster. So.
Somebody asked me that in an outreach the other day, and I said, absolutely. An individual disaster is something that we can help. Again, they have to go through a recovery process, even if there's, sole person who has suffered from this. So absolutely, those are circumstances we can help. So I guess my first thing of what do you do after a disaster? Let's say it's hit your house. What do we say the first step is?
The first thing is mitigation. Maybe that's jumping ahead. There's a lot of first, I guess. Things that happen all at one time,
Are you safe? I guess.
Checking on people's first things, because people are more important than things. I think just mitigating, trying to stop any further damage, taking an inventory of your property, seeing what kind of damage you have.
Right.
And that's all kind of in preparation for filing claims.
Right.
And seeking help later down the road. But I think those are the first things you'd want to do.
Right.
Or a list of who you're going to call. You have your important numbers, your emergency contacts, you have your landlord or your mortgage company, you have those lists of people. So if you all want to talk about those lists of important numbers, that would be something that you want to have after a disaster.
So first, given everybody's safe, you want to seek shelter, you want to have communication with your family. I'll just hit on that. And I know we're going to get to family plan, but yes, make sure, you're communicating with your people that you're safe, that you're sheltering, that list of information. I think we hit on it last time. And I think Isaac had one of a point for me to put this water and fire safe list of information in your freezer. But that would be something you would probably want to pull out, post disaster. Everybody's safe. Let's pull this pamphlet out. Let's look at my mortgage. Let's look at my insurance. Let's look at, my documents I have. Do we need to call somebody? Is there water actively coming out
Right.
of pipes? Do we need to have electricity shut off? I think that referencing that list would
Yeah.
be a good starting point.
Yes, I agree. And I think it's also important to have those numbers, which I think we talk about, have those numbers not just, available via Google search, have them, in a physical address book, or have them, in a notebook or whatever the case may be, have them in your safe,
Right.
more in your phone, because I know a lot of times when, especially in a wind event, Wi-Fi can be down, internet can be down.
Right.
So you're not able to do, or and even cell phone towers, so wherever the carrier is,
Right.
those towers could be down until they repair them. So you might be able to Google a number if you don't have it already. So it's good to
Right.
have that in hand.
Right.
And in the same vein, having those policy numbers, because of course most of those are, most things now are covered by an app. But again, you can't access if you don't have access,
Right.
via internet. So it's good to have the kind of throwing it back, to have the hard copy of stuff, and the importance of that.
Right.
You also want to have your medication list and your prescription numbers and your
Yes.
Oh,
contact to
yeah.
your
Very important.
pharmacy. And you
Absolutely.
can put that on your phone under your emergency contact information. There's a way to do that. But you want to have that list and have those numbers available, because if you don't know them or you don't have an app that you can use because there's no Wi-Fi, no cell phone coverage,
Right.
you need to have those numbers to be able to give the pharmacy, especially if you lose your medications during the disaster.
Right. Yeah. Landlord contact information, if you're a renter, would be something good to have in there. Post disaster, if you are a renter, reaching out and making contact with your landlord, the property owner.
Yep.
There are some written notice requirements under the Oklahoma Landlord Tenant Act. So contacting an attorney if you are a renter is important, because there are things we can do. Written notice, if you want your deposit back, again, you've got to give written notice. You've
Yep.
got to give written notice of the damages. So that's something that we really can jump in and help provide. And I mean, those are hard to come up with if your laptop's destroyed.
Right.
How are you going to
Right.
write a written demand? So we can work with people to do that. Insurance information. I mean, in Oklahomans, I think we talked about this last time, but I do just want to reiterate, we are a rural state and we are a low income state. So we have a vast number of people in Oklahoma who are living below the federal poverty level, who are struggling just to put food on the table, much less pay their insurance premiums. And so these people are very highly susceptible to disasters and being worse off after a disaster.
There's close to 600,000 people who are in poverty in Oklahoma currently. So, I mean, that number is,
And I like to say that's just what people report. We don't actually.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a lot more. But yeah, you're
or
right. Those are
teetering
kind
on
of
that
our-
guide. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few other kind of just helpful recovery tips. We've got all of our pamphlets. Arla, what about, maybe you can just tell us about the website a little bit and our
Yeah.
recovery pamphlet.
So we actually have all of our replacing lost documents, our hiring a contractor, our disaster checklist. Everything is available online at www.oklahomadisasterlegalhelp.org. If you go on there, you can go over to the side tab. You can see all topics, or you can just go to downloadable resources. Under downloadable resources, there's so much more. There's disaster tax information. There's more information on landlord tenant and homeownership and insurance. So just go on there, check out the website, kind of go through, see what you want to learn about. There's more information as far as videos. There's stuff for kids on there. There's stuff for faith leaders on there. And so we're trying to make sure it is well-rounded for everybody in Oklahoma, no matter if you're low income or not.
Right. So all of that's on our website, and that is an awesome website. You can
Mhm.
even search, I think, by disasters and
Yes.
what resources are available. So, I mean, having
There's-
those are very helpful. I think I brag sometimes. I think didn't Oklahoma City use our contractor fraud tip sheet in a presentation?
They did it in a news article, yeah. And we actually have had a couple of different news stories throughout Oklahoma about disasters and related tips. There's also other websites that are available too, like heartlanddisasterhelp.org and ladrc.org are two other really important websites to help in Oklahoma that can guide you to many different resources available as well. And then you always have 211. So anywhere in Oklahoma, if you call 211, they can help you get connected with a resource for what you need. So that's another important resource that's available.
Yes. 211 is awesome.
They are great.
And 211, I mean, with that, that's a big part of post-disaster of what are my resources? 211 can help guide people to resources. And that is great. So also there's partner agencies that we work with that I think a lot of times show up right after a disaster to help provide some relief. So knowing who those partner agencies are, that's a good way to recover, to assist with our recovery.
Well, and then Oklahoma VOAD, Voluntary Organizations Active in Disaster. That is an organization that is made up of a whole bunch of nonprofit organizations that work together. So you have the Red Cross, you have the Salvation Army, you have Catholic Charities, you have Legal Aid, you have Oklahoma Indian Legal Services. You have so many other important agencies that go in to help after a disaster through Oklahoma VOAD and are members of Oklahoma VOAD. So they gather together and coordinate, cooperate, collaborate, and communicate.
And the communications manager, just had an awesome VOAD expo. We had a lot of vendors. It was wonderful. Free food, a DJ. We got some families, some good information. So we'll see you guys next year at our second annual VOAD expo.
To be determined.
Yes. So that was awesome. That was so good job on that.
Thank you.
So VOAD, and we are part of VOAD, right?
Yes.
And so those are the organizations that go out and, like you said, help after disaster.
Yeah, partnering with them, they can actually help you develop a family plan too. So that is something that we want to talk about a little bit as well, but kind of get our segue into it is, how to create that family plan. What do you need to do? What do you need to know?
Right.
So if you want to go ahead and talk about that, Isaac.
Yeah, I think a family plan is wonderful to have, even if you don't have kids. Because I think a lot of times, same with estate planning, people only think about those if you feel like you have something that you're going to lose or people, kids you want taken care of. But they're good to have so that you know where to go. I guess first thing, family plan, kind of holistically thinking about it. It's where to go if a natural disaster is upon you, and then afterwards checking in with family, giving them information, tell them that you are okay. That's kind of the first thing. I think secondly, with the family plan is that estate planning side of ensuring that if someone does pass, unfortunately, disasters do take lives. And so make sure your property, your kids are taken care of if that were to happen. So I think that's kind of the two things. Think about a family plan.
Yeah.
And also, I guess, where would you go if a tornado was coming? That's, kind of inherent in the family plan.
Right. Kind of prong one.
Right. So that's, where would you go? What would you take with you?
Right.
Your
disaster bag.
Yeah, your disaster go bag that has your important documents.
Okay.
And it's always good. Here in Oklahoma, we always, if you have a storm shelter or wherever your safe place is, you kind of get that prepared before storm season. You get chairs, you get lights, you got
vacuum it out.
Yeah. Make sure there's no spiders or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I think. That's the first prong of the family plan.
And I will just add, I always have been a little bit of a negative Nancy on this Facebook check-in thing after disaster. But logistically, it actually is pretty brilliant. I mean, so that is one thing that you do want to communicate, with your parents. Your parents need to communicate with you. Everybody needs to have, to the extent it's possible, post-disaster an open line of communication. That way dad's not out there looking for you, thinking maybe you're not safe when you are. So it just prevents, multiple extra recovery efforts, people putting themselves in danger, where to go, what to do, what to take. I think that's a great part of the family plan. I mean, what are your kids going to do? What are you going to do if you have a disabled grandma? How are we going to get grandma out? What's the best route? What's our plan of action?
Yeah,
Use your pets.
Oh, pets.
Yeah, pets, elderly, especially ones with accessibility issues, and kids are kind of the big three you think about.
Yeah.
And I think another thing we need to think about with the family plan is if you are separated, where's a meetup place?
Right.
Especially if kind of earlier talking about internet down or phones down, like you can't communicate via those ways, and you need to know like where's a place that we can all go to that we'll meet up.
We know we'll be there.
And you stay there until we all come, or you hear news otherwise or something.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing to have in your plan. And it's good to have the family plan. Where to go, where to meet up if you get separated. I think it's good to have on your fridge or, kind of an open place that everyone knows. Yeah. So even if you have visitors over, and something happens, they know where to go. And so it's good to be open and everyone knows. And it's good, of course, in school, we always do drills. I think it's good to do drills. And I know it sounds silly, but it is good to do them. Because, you never know how to react unless you're, putting that. Of course, it's a simulated, but no, it's good to go through it.
When we were at the expo last weekend before, the firefighter asked my 7-year-old, "Do you have a fire escape plan?" I got caught with my pantaloons down because no, we do. But have we ever logistically, and that's horrible to say. And even after we left that expo, I was like, now we know, you get down on the floor, you stay low. I tried talking to him about some of those things, but it really, the kids remember those things and they will do them if you teach them. Right. And so even I was thinking, we have a pretty small house, but a little diagram. Mm-hmm. This is meet here. Here's your route. So yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
Well, and that's another good point that you had too, is like other organizations like your fire department, your police department can help you create a family plan. But also you can go on to ready.gov and they have a way to make a family plan on there as well. Yes. And they have things to teach you, those extra tips awesome. And sheets and things like that. And FEMA does that as far as putting it out there. And that's what ready.gov is from the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
Okay. And I will add firefighters will give you alarms. So preparing for your own home, if you don't have access, especially due to low income or things like that, go to the fire station. They will make sure that you have, a smoke alarm, etc. So that was nice. She was like, "Do you have one of these?"
Yeah,
yes, we do.
Yeah, they asked Naomi. She's like, "Yeah, we have a lot." I was like, I'm a safety guy.
Yeah.
But that goes right along with planning. So the next thing is you do your family plan. You need to do your estate planning, your wills and things like that. So that kind of guides right into what's your next plan of action. If you do get separated or somebody does pass away, what are you going to do next?
People's estate planning. Do they have a will? Do they have a power of attorney? Do they have, I think it goes back to looking at your assets, knowing what you have, knowing what you need to protect and how you need to do that.
Yeah.
Making sure you have assets in your own name. That's one thing we do see post-disaster.
I think I know where you're going with. I think the number one issue we see post-disaster, legal issue that is property. Folks not having their home in their name.
Yes,
Granny's house,
and Granny's house, and most nonprofits, federal agencies require home ownership. For access to funds or to repair, replace,
Nobody's going to help you if you don't own it. Nobody's going to help you rebuild something that you do not own.
Right. Right. They're not going to invest in funds if there's
Right.
no certainty that you're just going to be yours
Right.
in 10 years.
Right.
So that's very important. And that's something we can do. Estate planning is, obviously proactive and forward thinking. Most people think of property, but that's a good way it's preparedness in the sense of you're
Mhm.
preparing that when you do get hit, you'll have ability to, apply for programs to help.
Right.
Well, also your advance directive, because if something happens to you in a disaster, when you're in the hospital, who's making those decisions? That's where the advance directive could help as well.
Those are good to have. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're given those advanced directives of what you would want if
Right.
something would happen to you and you're able to make decisions for
Right.
yourself. And also a power of attorney is
Right,
kind of the same
that's-
vein.
yeah.
Those are both documents that you should have
Right.
to help you in those situations.
There's a big misconception that you have to be old to have these documents, and you don't. Every person needs to have these, whether you're young, whether you have children, whether you don't have children. It's no age requirement
Right.
for estate planning. It's even sometimes more important for younger couples
Yes.
who have young children
Absolutely.
and mortgaged assets, things like that, to have a plan. And just a sidebar, we spend a lot of time in Blue Skies helping seniors with these. We go out to our senior centers. We're out helping, doing intakes, getting information from people, helping them with their wills, power of attorney, advance directives. Transfer on death deeds are one of the most amazing little documents you can have for planning in Oklahoma. So we do help with these items. And so, if you fall into where you think you could qualify for our services, you can call legal aid, because this is something we do. We spend some time at the senior centers helping with these kind of things.
And then finally, just making sure that all your documents are in a fireproof, waterproof safe. If you don't have a safe, put them in your fridge in a Ziploc bag. That can help as well. Because some of this information, if you haven't given it to somebody else to keep in a safe, out of state, sometimes that's helpful. Or if you don't have it in a safe at a bank or something like that, because you can't afford to do the safety deposit box at the bank, put it in a fridge, put it in your deep freeze, put it, in something that is your go bag. It's going to be with you. Copy it onto the drive, put it on a flash drive and stick it in your, go bag, whatever you need to do, just to make sure that you have that information in those documents.
And I was just going to circle back, because I think we started this discussion with, what do you do after a disaster? So we kind of started, okay, well, you're going to make sure everybody's safe. We're going to contact, or, we're going to go through our information. I think with that is, you're going to make insurance claims.
Right.
You're going to contact legal services if you need them. Now, that's a time to contact us or a private attorney to help you through this process. But you're going to use trusted agencies. You're going to want to do your research online when you're finding a contractor.
Right.
Well, that just brings it back to the disaster cycle. So you prepare for the disaster, then the disaster hits, then you mitigate, then you have your recovery process. And through your recovery process, you're preparing for the next disaster.
Right.
So it's the whole entire cycle just goes round and around and around. This is just something we try to reiterate. It is important to do, but this is why sometimes it might sound like we're repeating the same thing, is because eventually you are doing the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
So following up with everything, go to the website, which is www.oklahomadisasterlegalhelp.org. Find all the resources there, the checklist, the tip sheets, the information on previous disasters or any disasters that may impact you while watching this video.
Right.
Go there, check everything out. If you have any questions, you can either apply online through the website, or you can call our disaster hotline, which is 888-602-8494. And so you can give us a call on there, leave a message, and we will get back to you, because it goes straight to a voicemail. So we have that recorded message of what's going on, but we will respond to you the next business day. So if you have any questions or any concerns, please feel free to reach out to us. And we will hope to see you in the future.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.